Hey YouTube world, and my name's Adam, and you're watching Adventure Overland. And this is our 2002 GMC Yukon Denali Overland rig. In the intro, this is our 2002 GMC Yukon Denali. We call her Nally. She's getting close to 460,000 kilometers. She sits on a 2-inch rough country leveling kit. I know some of you are like 2 inches, but every inch counts. And she rolls on a set of Belkin Wild Peak all-terrain tires. Everything that I show you guys today has either been bought on Amazon, a couple items on Craigslist, and then we've been lucky enough to have some companies and work with us and sponsor a couple of our items in today. But we'll get into that a little bit more throughout the video. So let's head out front and we'll start our tour. So this is a set of Auxbeam's 3-inch pod lights. We've had these on the truck now for about 3 years and definitely love them. They're mounted on a hood mount. No drilling required. There's just, I believe, 6 Allen key bolts that you tighten and clamps it down to the hood. But you don't have to worry because it does have in rubber in between the clamps, so no scratching. These clamps were definitely pretty cheap, and we put them on 2 years ago and we haven't had to adjust them once. These are definitely great lights. And with them mounted on the hood, you definitely get some good throw with your light, and they're extremely bright. On the front of our truck here is another product from Auxbeam. This is their 20-inch LED light bar mounted on a license plate bracket. This bracket is definitely probably almost over the top, heavy duty. And what was nice about it is we didn't have to do any extra drilling. We just bought some longer and license plate screws, and we're able to screw our plate and the bracket itself into where the existing bolt holes were. This light bar, for being a 20-inch, is extremely bright, and it gives you just a huge and wide beam pattern, which is great when you're cruising the backcountry, and definitely another great product. So this is one of the sponsorship items that we got. This is Auxbeam's control switch panel. This has been a great addition because, one, it looks professional, and then two, when we have more items that we're going to put on our truck, like a winch in the future, it's super easy. It's basically then all just plug and play. All of our powers already ran, the switches ran. We have everything here so far: our underglow, our bumper lights, our light bar, our cube, and then we have 4 more slots to add new items. And this is our 6-foot awning from Off-Road Gear. We actually have a couple of their products too. This has been a great addition in British Columbia. It's very rainy in the spring and the fall, so having something that you can sit under when you're out camping and you're not trying to mess around with tarps has been just a great addition to our setup. Like I said, it is 6 feet by 6 feet. And what was nice about this one, which could also be a little bit of a negative, is the privacy panel here. Now this privacy panel is great because you can lift it up and tie it to, let's say, a tree, and then you get an additional 6 feet of coverage over your head, which would then turn out to be 12 feet, which is really handy if you have if you're out camping with friends and family, and you can have everybody basically all huddled under here and keeping dry by the fire. It's also nice if you are in a provincial park, let's say, and you're right next to some other campers. It acts great as a privacy panel. The only downside I would say to it is it's already mounted onto the top mount, so you can't take it off. So when you go to roll it back up, that makes it a little bit more difficult. But that being said, the more you do it, you just learn quickly how to and wind it up, what's the quickest way and the best way. So I wouldn't really say that's a downfall, but for some, let's just say you go out all by yourself, I could see that maybe being a little bit of a disadvantage. But having that extra 6 feet of material, plus having for privacy or for coverage, it's actually definitely worth it. And it's a great price too for this one. Now this is another product from Off-Road Gear. And this backpack, trash bag, whatever you want to call it, was our very first item we put on our truck and our Overland Built. We've had this for almost 3 years. Yes, it's lost a lot of in color, but it still works extremely well. All the clips, everything. It's a great place to put tools, extra oil, and ropes. We keep our leveling blocks in here. It's just overall a great addition. Great for having that extra storage. And you'd be surprised how many people comment on the backpack on the back of your vehicle. And over here is our 20-liter in military style and metal gas can. We just bought this in the spring of this year. One thing that's hampered some of our explorers is getting way out in the middle of nowhere and having to turn around because we're getting worried about the amount of fuel we have and what we need to get back out of the backcountry. So having that additional fuel when we go out, one, it gives us the peace of mind that, you know, if we get into a bind, we got extra gas. And you wouldn't believe how many times we come across people in the backcountry who aren't prepared and need some gas. So it's definitely come in handy. This mounting kit was, again, super easy to put together and fairly cheap. It's nice because it has a lock over it, so it keeps the bad guys out. And again, looks cool, and it's been a great addition to our truck. Now this is another product that we bought this spring and we haven't had to use them yet. This is the X-Bull traction boards and recovery boards, whatever you want to call them. And this is one of those items you want to have, but you never want to use, because if you do have to use them, well, then you're probably in a bind and you're stuck. So this is something that we bought so we can just be more prepared for our adventures this upcoming winter. Again, a great an item to have, because when you are out in the middle of nowhere, you gotta depend on yourself and yourself only. So this is one of those items that we hope we never have to use, but if we do need them, we have them. Now, a rooftop tent is definitely and fairly easy to set up. It just takes time, and the more you do it, you learn kind of just and what works and for you, and easier ways to maybe do things. Now, this Smitty Built rooftop tent we actually bought off of Craigslist. This was a sweet deal, and if you are wanting a rooftop tent but don't want to spend the full price, and the later months like fall and winter is a great time to get them, because people don't want to keep them in their garages. They take a lot of space, and it's a great time to buy a rooftop tent if you've ever thought of it. This is the Smitty Built. I think they classify it as a 3-person tent. It would definitely work for 2 adults and 1 child. 3 adults, you better be really close into that extra person, because it would be tight. We paid $800 for ours, and that is definitely a steal. These retail for about $1,600, so we got it about half off, and it is in mint condition and basically brand new. Now, this tent is rated for 4 seasons. You would leave a lot of the awnings down for that extra installation, but we haven't gone winter camping yet, but that is something that we plan on doing this upcoming season. We are just looking into now getting some and diesel heaters that we can run up and have heat in our tent to keep us nice and warm. It does come with a rain cover. You can actually take that off if you want, if you know it's not going to rain, and it has 2 skylights up top. It's got 4 windows in total, 1 at the front where you climb up the ladder and go in, 2 sides, and a back one. We don't open up in this one too often just because it's more of a hassle than anything. I actually had to and fabricate the rods that hold up the awning so it will work to go around our awning on the side of our truck. But we just keep it like this unless we have a beautiful view 365 degrees around, and then it's worth having that open. If you guys do get a rooftop tent and you don't want to carry around a ladder, I would highly recommend getting one of these. This was about $20, and what it's used for is you can mount it on your door hinge here. Now some of you might be like, well, why would you do that? You're going to bend it. And these are rated for, I believe, up to 1,200 pounds or 1,500 pounds. And it's a great way that you can then just climb up to the top of your tent and to put your poles in or do any other adjusting that you need to do. I'll climb up here and show you guys inside of our tent. What's nice about the Smitty Built is it does come with a light and some Velcro up top that it will attach to. You'll just need to have a battery pack, which you can get at the dollar store. It is a little dark in here, so I do apologize. But like I said, 2 skylights and then 4 windows, or you could say 3 windows and 1 door, which I'm standing in. 1, 2, 3. It's got in little pockets to put your keys, your cell phones, and whatever else you want to and have in here. It's also great because it does have a spot where you can put a heater, and then there's also a spot on the outside where you can run a power cord up here if you were at a campground that maybe does have shore power. So it does come with a sleeping pad already built into it, and we are getting older, so we do bring an additional pad that we put on top, which just makes it that much more comfortable. But for the young folks there, this will probably be good enough. So the good folks over at Blue Eddy were generous enough to send us one of their power stations. And this is their EB3A 600 watt power station. And this has been a great addition. We carry a lot of camera gear, flashlights, drones, GoPros. And to be able to charge in these using the power box is definitely better, and we feel more confident than plugging it into all your outlets in your truck. Especially if you are in the middle of nowhere, the last thing you want to do is drain your battery, your vehicle's battery, because you're trying to charge your camera to shoot a video. Now they're also generous enough to send one of their solar panels. Now this is definitely a small one. I believe it's only 60 watts if I can remember correctly. But this little solar panel here on a good sunny day is enough to run our Iceco fridge freezer. The great thing about the Iceco fridge freezer is it has an eco mode, which uses in very low wattage. When we're cruising around on the highway in the backcountry, we turn this to eco mode and it pulls roughly about 45 watts. So it doesn't do any significant draining on our battery. And the solar panel being 60 watts, it works imperfectly. So that has also been a great addition because we're not then killing our battery while we're trying to keep our cold drinks and our food cold. The great thing about this fridge is it is a dual climate, so it's got its own freezer and fridge. Just have all of our cables in there. And what's also nice for this one, depending on how you have your either your Overland rig set up or your Vanlife RV, is you can open it on either side. Super, super cool. It's got a little light inside too, so when it's at nighttime and you're grabbing that cold beverage, it's super easy to see. This kitchen is super easy to use. It's got a lock on the side here that you just pull out. So I am parked on a little bit of a hill, so it will close if I let go of it. but that's something that you would just want to make sure. And I could easily just prop up the back of the kitchen if I was camping and leveling was an issue. But this is a great little kitchen. It's got a collapsible sink here, so I can pull out my water and do my dishes. This is where I keep my barbecue. The propane I just run and stick underneath there. And this, again, when you're out in the middle of nowhere and you need a place to cook, there's no tables, this is just a great piece to have. And it's a good conversation piece too. When we went to the Overlanding show in Mission, this was one of those pieces that we had a lot of people looking at and asking questions. Well guys, that's our an Overland rig. We hope you guys maybe learned something, saw some products that maybe you've never seen before. And if you did like anything that you did see today, make sure you check out the description below, and we'll have all the products we have on our truck enlisted there, so you can take a better look, get prices, and see if it will work for you guys. Until next time, take care, and we'll see you in the next video.